Yeah, like Blake said, like and subscribe.
Each other, Rickard Johnson, checkered flag in the air, Scott Rickard wins it!
Oh, and there he goes, harder to the inside, blow Hibbs is involved, Tyler Whittemore, he's in the middle of the track. Oh, he's gonna get stuck again!
He's jumped! The French shows him blocking his turn! Rosenberg takes the lead, they're all junking it! The entire field is jumped! Oh, and Yankee Checkered Johnson! Oh, and he gets collected!
Oh, he goes around 78. Oh, harder to the pit wall. He's dead. He is dead.
Clear out of 3 and 4 for the final time. Matthew wins his first race back. Missed last week, but here he is taking the checkered flag. Your winner, Matthew.
Hello and welcome in to tonight's race, the Southern 200 here in the Stars and Stripes Racing League, week number 3. You might be thinking to yourself right now, this doesn't sound like the GOAT. That's correct. I'm not the GOAT, Blake Hutchinson. My name is Jesse Becker. I'll be leading this broadcast here tonight. Blake is off having a good time, ignoring his work, and forcing us to do it here tonight. But I've got my buddy here in the booth with me, Christian Taylor. How you doing, Christian?
I am doing great. You know, this is our home track, Jesse. We've been to it a time or two. You've been to it more than me. This egg-shaped oval is sure to put on a big show here tonight.
Yeah, it is quite the interesting shaped track as we're getting ready to watch some qualifying here. Got a couple guys on the track, mainly the 05 of Scott Rickard, winner of Daytona, showing off a pretty cool paint job here. Looking, that kind of reminds me almost of an old Kevin Harvick maybe, but yeah, he's out there qualifying. No time on the board yet, but who do you have your eye on tonight when it comes to Darlington? Who are you going to be watching closely here as qualifying's going on?
Well, I know one, Rickard is one to always keep an eye on, but, somebody who's not been doing the best in points lately, but it tends to be the Darlington ace is Kyle McCoy. We're going to keep an eye on him tonight. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and lock in my pick to win it is Kyle McCoy of the 7 car.
Yeah, Kyle McCoy, great Darlington history. I think he's got something like 4 wins or something like that at Darlington, so he's got a pretty good history, so he's a good pick. If I had to pick somebody right here off the bat, I think Scott Rickard's going to go 2 for 3. He's got something tonight. He's going to win it.
Definitely one you never want to bet against. He actually broke my winning streak at Daytona, and then I picked him again last week, and then he got junked. So we're right back to where we started with that winning streak.
Yeah, you get a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, and you finally were able to get a pick to win the race correct, but that's not going to happen very often. Aaron Hell sitting on top of the board right now in the 4 car out of Colesburg. I don't know if IA, is that Indiana or is that Iowa? I don't know my states, but anyways, this car's looking good, sitting on the top of the board by 100th of a second right now, 29.27. Go pull it in the pits in that payday car. Let's see who else we got here. Zachary Nelson in the 07. 5th on the board right now. Not sure how long we've got here in qualifying, but only a few times on the board, about 9 times. I think we've got about... How many drivers signed up tonight, do you think? About 25, 30?
Something like that, roughly. We are 3 minutes in officially into this 5-minute qualifying session.
Man, look at the times on the board here. Hale's got the pole, but all the way back to 7th. They're within a 10th of each other, so it's pretty close here in the front of the field. I think it's gonna make for some good racing once we do get this thing underway. A lot of fast guys, a lot of speed up here near the front. You got to go now. It's down to 9th within a 10th of each other here. Burchett almost tying for the pole.
You know, this is a narrow track when it comes to, it's a wide track, but it's narrow when it comes to racing line. There is one way around this thing. It is the ripping the wall. Kind of in 1 and 2, you got to get down, get up against it in the middle, and, you know, rip it all the way down 3 and 4.
Yeah, you got the 54 Andrew Hess here. He made a statement just now. I think it was his first lap of 29.23, and he junks it on his second lap. Hits the inside wall hard, but doesn't matter. He's going to be sitting on top of the board right now anyways. But Hess on top of the board now. Statement time from him. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to beat that, but we got a few guys. Kyle McCoy does! He beats the time, the Darlington Ace.
I just said it, you know, it was going to be one to watch, and there he goes with the quick time here at Darlington.
Yeah, 29.15 to Andrew Hess's 29.24, almost a 10th faster than anybody out here. You think he knows a little bit about this track, Christian?
I say he knows his way around it. Maybe he's a Larson fan.
That's incredible. I mean, I knew the stats, and the stats didn't lie. He's good here, so he's going to be a guy to watch in that number 7 car. I haven't paid too much attention to the first 2 weeks. You know, usually I'm not in the booth or anything on Tuesday nights, but I haven't heard a lot about Kyle McCoy, so I'm excited to see what he can do tonight. He might just dominate this race.
That's something you're going to have to keep an out for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like Ben Shepard set his qualifying time. He's going to be back there in the lower end of the pack. Fred 19th, it looks like.
Yeah, I don't think we've got anybody on the track right now, so let's take a look here at where these drivers are trying to end up tonight. Victory lane here. Victory.
Beautiful.
Well, if it would show me. It's not cooperating. Oh, well. Maybe if I go here. Yeah, look at that. We got victory lane here, Darlington Motor Speedway. That's where all these drivers are trying to go. But as we get ready to roll here, you think it's time, Christian? I think it's time that we go through this starting grid. Are you ready?
I am ready to go.
All right, let's check it out here for the Southern 200. Let's hear a starting grid. Let's get some tunes going here. Let's get some music going.
The best tunes in the business. I slave it in the studio for hours over them, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, absolutely. This incredible music here as we get ready to go through the starting grid. Starting on the front row, the Darlington Ace himself, Kyle McCoy. To his outside, the Italian himself, Andrew Hess in the 54 car.
And your row number 2, Aaron Hill in the 4 car. 2 is outside. Trey Jackson from Wolfpack Racing in the 5 car.
Row number 3 has the 33 of Brian Burchett, and to his outside, the 91 of Chris Essery.
Zach Kreitz starting your row number 4. To his outside, Scott Rickard in an 05 car from Bronze Horse Garage.
Row 5, not to be confused with Robert Griffin III, is Larry Griffin III on the Throttle Racing 77. To his outside is going to the 8 car of Josh Gratton.
Row number 6, Chad White in the 36. To his outside, Zachary Nelson in the 07.
Row number 7 starting off with, where is he? It's James Waldo in the 89. To his outside is going to be the 28 of Josh Whitaker.
Cal Bowling in the 44 and Jason Gratton in the 46, rounding out your row 8.
Row number 9 has Brian Lynch in the 24 car and the 18th on his outside, Alex Buffoli in the 08.
And row number 10, Ben Shepard in the 69 car and Ryan Lynch from On the Throttle Racing in that 3 machine.
Row number 11, hope he stays in his lane. It's Everett Lane in the 48, and to his outside is going to be the 35, Barfield Motorsports, Bryce Barfield.
And in your 23rd position, Brian Samar in the 53 car representing BCI. And after a hard wreck last week, William Duff the 4th in the 17.
Let's see what else we got. Row number 13 is going to have the 39 of Doug Pierce, and to his outside, Michael Kurzalek.
Aaron Poplin in the 27th position. Thomas Holder in the 00.
All right, and finishing it off is going to be Mark Schrader in the number 10 and Derek Offerman in the number 20 in row 15, the final row. Let's get this junk out of here, getting ready to go. Let's focus on the man himself, Kyle McCoy. Turn this music down, get nice and quiet here as we get ready to drop the hammer here tonight. Christian, why don't you go ahead and take us green for the first time tonight?
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Southern 200 here at the track. Too tough to tame. Green flag is in the air. Kyle McCoy leads the field to the green flag. Down the front stretch into turn 1. Don't rip the wall. There's someone to your outside as he clears them easily. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
as he goes through the turns.
I'd say, wouldn't you?
I'd say once or twice.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys flying so far. A little bit of shaking and baking in the back of the field, but looking clean and green so far through half of a lap. Let's see if we can get some green flag runs tonight. Darlington kind of can be hit or miss. It's a scary track if you've never driven it before. And sometimes you can get scared out there taking it easy, but what it leads to a lot of times in my experience is some green flag racing because everybody's scared to pass, so you don't really have any crazy moves.
We got a car stuck in the wall. Seems to be keeping it clean, straight. I can talk English, I promise.
You don't get your words mixed up ever, do you?
No, never.
Never.
I am a scholar when it comes to the English language, Jesse.
Absolutely. We know it. We see it every week as the top 4 breaking away here. McCoy, Hess, Jackson, and Essery kind of throwing a gap here back to 5th. Rickard holding on to that spot. As you see, Hess in the 54, he's trying to do something to get to this 7 car. He's smacking the wall out of turn 2, as that's going to happen a lot tonight, smacking the wall out of these corners. See if we've got any action here farther back in the pack. Let's take a look at 36 car Chad White, good buddy of ours. He's holding down the top 10 right now, holding on to that 10th spot in the Hutchinson Motorsports TV machine. Whoa, we got a pink car in the back. I'm not sure who that is. Let's see if we can figure that out. That's going to be Alex Buffoli in the 08, getting a little slideways there out of turn 2, but he managed to save it. That car is a whole lot of pink.
That is one pink machine, I must say.
Absolutely. Even if he's not here, you know, I got to say absolutely constantly like him, but I also got to check out who we've got here in the Hutchinson Motorsports battle for last, and it looks like, who is it going to be holding that spot down right now? Is it Derek Offerman? Is he on the track? He is not. So it looks like
Everett F. Lane.
Everett Lane out of Delaware holding down the patented Hutchinson Motorsports Battle for Last Award, putting the graphic on the screen for everybody. Whoever made that deserves a whole lot of money.
Don't pat yourself on the back too much there, Jesse.
Pat me on the back? What are you talking about? Wait a second. What? Did I miss something here? Kyle McCoy. Okay, he had me scared for a second. I think we had a little bit of connection issues. Looking at the Hutchinson Motorsports Battle for Last, it told me that the leader was out of the race for a second. I got really concerned, but we're all good up here. Woo!
I think as long as he has, that good internet connection, I don't think many people are gonna be able to give him a run for his money here tonight.
Yeah. Looks like Chris Essery there in the 91. He's in second place now. He managed to make that pass on lap 5 while we were looking back through the field. He's got some pretty good pace within 100th of the leader on the last lap, so he's going to put in a challenge for this lead, but it's going to be interesting to see if anybody can get by Kyle McCoy today, in my opinion.
It's going to probably be only on strategy that they're able to do anything. They're going to have to try to out-strategy him. When somebody is just dominant like that and pull away, especially, somebody who owns a track as much as Kyle McCoy does with 4 wins here in the Stars and Stripes series, you got to just out-strategy him. But the 4 car of Chris Essery is giving him a run right here. Excuse me, that's the 91.
Yeah, we saw at the beginning the top 4 really broke away from everybody else, and that's kind of seemed to change here. It seems to be more like a 6-car breakaway or so. There's some decent gaps. First and second's definitely running away, but they've sort of reeled McCoy in a little bit as you go farther back, or maybe everybody's just kind of spread out more like.
Don't let the graphic on the screen fool you. This is not your battle for last. This is your battle for your race lead now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That 4 car is not the 4 car. It's actually the 91 of Chris Essery.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, I didn't notice that either. He's got the wrong paint on that machine of his there. That's interesting.
It happens from time to time.
Man, he's getting close to McCoy here. He might have a little bit of something for him 11 laps in. Oh, but he's getting sideways. He's pushing the heck out of that car right now. We'll see if he's able to do anything. If he can throw a slide job in there. He's looking for it.
I could run up there and catch a race leader if I really wanted to. But one thing I can't do is maintain it once I do.
Yeah, he's getting beside him again here in the turns 3 and 4. He's going to slide up the track. Ooh. He's going to stay off of him, though. He's going to make the pass for the new leader, Chris Essery.
I think Kyle McCoy there just let him go. He's like, oh, okay, in the 05, Scott Ricker gets loose right there behind him. But I think McCoy knew what he was doing there, just letting him go.
Man, this is some racing here early on. We got a challenge for the lead by 3 cars right here. There was a big gap between first and second. All it took was 1 pass attempt from Essery, and Rickard and Hess have caught back up, and it's a 4-car battle now.
No, McCoy may have went into a little bit of, managing mode. We'll see how it plays out. This is quite a, long race, 147 laps. We're only on lap 13, so anything could happen.
That is right. Anything could happen. And what I'm seeing happening right now is we're staying green flag racing. Christian, do you have any insights on what some driver strategies might be if this thing does go green? We've got 147 laps to go here. Quite a long race left.
Yep, keep track of your tire management. And somebody, Everett Lane, I was talking to him before the race, and he was like, the strategy, he's going to hang on and just hope someone else's day is worse than theirs. That's going to be his strategy.
Yes, he's scraping the wall going into the corner. Not a good look for the 48/24 of Lane. Still holding on to that battle for last spot there. As we go back out front, we've got a pass from Brian Burchett. Made the move there on Josh Grattan to gain that spot. Almost to the top 5 there for the 33 Skull car. We witnessed it in practice before we went live. Brian Burchett with a terrible crash in practice, able to get that backup car out and rolling.
Yep, backup car, possibly a backup driver, because it definitely did not feel nice for Brian Burchett.
It was very intense. I don't know how he even walked away from it, but here he is again, putting a bid on the top 5. He's got Trey Jackson in the 5 car there, holding down that 5th spot right in front of him. Out of Mayo, Florida.
one name I haven't seen tonight, Greg Hammond. Is he in the field?
He might still be on a holiday.
He's on.
Or is he a
Yep, that's
All-American driver?
No, he's from the Stars and Stripes League. He's on his Jet 2 holiday still.
I gotcha. 3-car
Yep,
battle for the lead intense here.
Yep, Scott Rickard, Cal McCoy, Chris Essery. Guys, Scott Rickard trying to look towards the bottom. I don't think that's going to be the move here, but, thinking back at it, Chris did pass Kyle on that bottom line.
Yeah, I was going to say that's how Essery got the pass done here on the 7. That's how the 7's going to look to get the pass back on Essery here potentially, or maybe he's just trying to knock some laps out as they get ready to head towards pit stops here. But with 19 laps checked off, clean and green racing here so far, we're going to go ahead and take our first break tonight. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe button if you're new here and you like what you're seeing. We're live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night for right now. So if you want to see more races, stay tuned. But we're going to go ahead and take our first break. Back with you here, 25 laps into the Southern 200, the Stars and Stripes series here on Hutchinson Motorsports TV. This is Jesse and Christian up here in the booth with you, and we've witnessed a couple of failed attempts at passes for the lead from Kyle McCoy. Chris Essery still holding on to the lead. What do you think about Essery's drive so far, Christian?
I think, he's managing the tires after the leaf. He's, keeping the car up there on the top. That seems to be the strategy here tonight. I'm seeing all these cars. We're pretty much single filed out around almost the entire track. They got cars from the exit of turn 4 all the way to the entrance of the backstretch.
Yeah, let's hop on board with the 7 of Kyle McCoy and see what it looks like following that number 7 there. or the number 91 of Essery in that Lululemon machine of all cars. Kyle McCoy seeming to be keeping a pretty calm wheel there from what we can see, and he seems to not really be pushing it right now, in my opinion. What do you think?
Just, you know, easing into the turns, taking care of those tires. I've said it a time or two tonight. You know, being careful off that turn right there. You know, coming off of 4, that's a little sneaky devil.
Yeah, that's where the Darlington stripe came from, was people smacking the wall out of turn 4, but honest to you, both turns 2 and turn 4 can be just as treacherous if you're pushing it too hard. All it takes is one mistake, and the whole right side of your car needs some fresh paint.
Ooh, we might have a pass here. Kyle McCoy on the inside, coming out of 4. Side by side down the front stretch. A little wobble out of both drivers. It looks like Kyle McCoy going to sneak on back in where he was. Right in front of Rickard.
He keeps trying the same move, and it just doesn't seem to be working for him.
You know, it's exactly how he got past. Oh, was that a block? We're 3 wide briefly. I don't know what just happened.
Oh, that got crazy. Scott Rickard trying to pounce in the 0-5. He's now to the outside the preferred lane. He's going to take over the lead here out of turn 4.
I'm hearing something about a huge crash on the back straightaway. Let's
the
try to investigate
Aaron Hale here. Let's get him on the screen. Oh, that car is junked. No caution. Race staying green. Let's go back real quick. Give me just a second. We'll go back and see what in the world happened to Aaron Hale. Give me 2 seconds here. Sorry, folks. Looks like the 54 got loose. Oh. 4 car, nowhere really to go, and he is junked. That's him and Andrew Hess have both destroyed race cars here.
Andrew Hess made the mistake. Aaron Hale paid for it, but we're still green here at Darlington.
Hale finds his way to his pit box with the hood blocking his vision. Scott Rickard continuing to lead the way here. Building a bit of a gap, to be honest, on the other drivers, up to 7/10 here. Maybe Rickard's been saving his tires and is glad he can finally try to run away from these guys now.
You know, he was running 3rd, and that whole mix-up happened where, you know, McCoy and Essery got loose and, you know, coming out of the turn, and Scott Rickard capitalized, took the lead, and is driving off into the Darlington sunset.
Yeah, Kyle McCoy in the 7, holding on to that 2nd spot there. Chris Essery in 3rd. Trey Jackson, the number 5, holding down the 4th spot, and Chad White's worked his way up to 5th. He's up 6 spots so far.
Taking a look at the chat, Brian Samara says the old 63 car is junk tonight. And he says, Jesse, you are the GOAT, way better than Blake. You know, I have fact-checked that, you know, from multiple sources. Turns out, it's true.
Absolutely is true. As we take a look at that 63 car that they claim is junk. He's up 4 spots tonight. He's up in the 23rd spot, scoring in time and going a little crazy there on the screen. Probably an issue on my end. But Poplin not as junk as it seems to be the idea tonight.
Oh, no, just a reminder for everyone watching at home. I see 19 people in the chat, but I only see 7 likes. What kind of math is that? It ain't mathing. Hit that like button, and also while you're at it, subscribe to Hutch Motorsport TV, #1 streaming service in the world.
Yeah, that math certainly isn't mathing. It needs to be 19 likes for 19 people watching. What are we doing here? Is Trey Jackson making his way into 3rd? He's going to get by the 91 of Essery. Not sure if Essery had an issue or if Jackson just caught him on speed, but Jackson's getting loose, and now Essery might take that spot back, and he does.
You know, I belong here as they're fighting for position still.
Yeah, Chad White's sitting there behind him just waiting, seeing who's going to get out of his way here. White looking good so far, gained a lot of spots on the long run. He might have a good long run car here as we might start to see some green flag stops here. We've got Alex Buffoli making his way onto pit lane in that pink 08 machine. He could be kicking off a pit cycle here.
Yeah, you know, my notes say your fuel window is 45 laps. But, you know, sometimes you burn those tires up. You just got to go now or you're just too slow compared to your race leaders. I'll say your race leader, Scott Rickard's last lap was a 30.83. And if we go down to the pack, let's just say our 20th position of Larry Griffin, he's ran a 31.31. So that just shows you the spread of, you know, our leader to someone later in the pack.
Yeah, well, it's a fall off throughout the field. Rickard, though, clean, consistent in the front, first place and a second place finish. Already this year, we've done 2 races. He's won one, finished second in the other. So, I mean, there's no better start to the season than what Scott Rickard's had other than winning both races. And he's looking like he might have the car to win tonight, too. I mean, he's putting some serious contention in for the championship this year early.
It's something to watch out for because I saw Kyle ran a lap faster than him, but Scott answered with a lap even faster than that. So they're going to keep on battling throughout the entire race unless they get separated by strategy, as you see on the screen, the 9 of Zach Kreitz.
Yeah, Kyle Bowling here in the 44 car seems to be slipping back a little bit. Both Josh Gratton and Zach Kreitz able to get by the 44 in the last handful of laps. We got a lapped car causing some chaos up there, scraping the fence. Look out! Everett Lane scaring these folks up here.
3 wide. Does 3 wide work very well at Darlington, Jesse?
I don't know. Let's hop on this drone cam here with Everett Lane, see what's going on with the 24. He's trying not to get run over out there.
He is slow. 46 came into that turn like a missile, and Everett Lane flipped it around like a battleship that didn't want to get hit.
Just to remind you here of this beautiful graphic, Everett Lane right now in that 48 car holding down strong the Hutchinson Motorsports Battle for Last award. He's going home with a trophy. He might not want it, but if he keeps this up, he's getting it.
Look at these wall cams. See him zoom on by. We're focused on the race leader, Scott Rickard, right now. As we're making our way around turns 1 and 2. Those are the wide turns. Heading down the backstretch. Look at those cars go.
Yeah,
Ain't
we've
it
got
beautiful,
all
Jesse?
sorts of cameras here at HMS TV. We got wall cams, we got gopher cams, and we've got the best view of all, the Hutchinson Motorsports blimp cam. What do you think?
You know, I still don't look at the blimp.
Oh, we got to cut away. He gets emotional. I forgot. I'm sorry, Christian. We'll let you recover before we go back to that, okay, buddy?
Okay. It's just so beautiful. Give me a moment.
I know. It's incredible. It is incredible. We've got a couple of people that have come down pit lane here recently. Chris Essery, the latest name in that 91, aka the 4-car accident pit road now. He says, his bio says, I don't know what I'm doing. But, I mean, he was looking strong early. He's pitting, kind of jumping these guys here who I'm assuming are going to have to come down pit road here soon if our pit window is correct. We're getting right up on that number, lap 44 here of 147.
Mike Poole in the chat saying, fine, I'll watch the race. You know, I don't recall forcing him, but I guess we did.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's manifesting that upon himself, but glad he tuned in regardless. Look at Chad White up here in P3, up 8 spots, contending for the biggest mover award, but right now that spot goes to the 35 car here of Bryce Barfield. Now he's the 37. I feel like every time with this guy, there's something going on with the number on his car, but he scored as the 35 Bryce Barfield, 2024 5150 Cup Series champion. Right behind him, sniffing him, the 53 car, three-time 5150 Cup Series points runner-up is Brian Samara.
You know, he's finished runner-up to Bryce Barfield. He also finished runner-up to who was that in 2023, Jesse?
Oh, I don't know. Some guy that's washed up, honestly. I'm not sure who it was, but both of these guys up 11 spots so far. Biggest movers of the race.
You know, somebody I've been, watching right now is the 63 of Aaron Poplin. I just watched him hit the wall to the point that if he was driving a Gen 7 car, he would have toe link damage. I don't know how strong these Gen 4s are, but he is out there. I thought Amtrak trains were supposed to be fast, Jesse.
Yeah, I don't know. This one seems to be just taking a nice little cruise through town in that Amtrak machine. He's sitting back here in 20th according to my score, and not sure how correct that is. But
it must be the scenic route, right? The scenic train.
Yeah, that's the one you hop on when you're in no hurry to get anywhere. That is for sure. As we hop back out front with Scott Rickard. Kyle McCoy keeping him in his sights, not letting him get away too much. Interesting to see, though, if McCoy still has that Darlington touch.
I feel like he's, knocked that lead down a little bit. I thought he was more than 0.6 seconds, but I could be wrong there. I sometimes lose the track of the scoring myself.
Yeah, as you see the 10 car of Mark Schrader going a lap down. The next victim to follow a lap down is going to be the 17 car of William Duff, the fourth. I believe he could have hit pit lane here. Several drivers are in the pits. When will the leaders come down?
36 of Chad White's coming down right now as we speak.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see the 36 car come in for his stop. Lap 50, you got to wonder who's going to be next. When's Rickard going to pit? When's McCoy going to pit? They've got to do it soon to get some fuel.
Absolutely. We're right there at the pit window, actually slightly over what I was thinking it would be. Kyle McCoy is pitting in this time by, according to radios. There goes our race leader, Scott Rickard. Get it, whoa, down, buddy. That looked like a fast entry.
These leaders coming down pit road. That's going to let the number 9 of Zach Kreitz take over the lead for now. He's staying out there at least one more lap. But we'll keep an eye on this battle between the leaders.
That was a fast entry right there. Hopefully he got it woe down in time, Scott Rickard.
Yeah, that would not be good to get a speeding penalty at this point of the race. Zach Kreitz right now in the 9 car leading the way. He's still got to come down pit road. Well, let's keep an eye on this battle off the pit lane. Rickard's out of his box. He's getting going. What about McCoy? Rickard going to stay ahead for now, but it's close. I think it's closer than when they came in.
Definitely closed the gap as they're getting going onto the track. Very slippery pit road exit, I might add. Now they got to worry about those cold tires. They get going on the track. Scott Rickard gonna be coming off in the 8th position after the pit cycle. So we got 7 drivers left to pit. Zach Kreitz in that Napa blue car. Getting it done here right now. Pit cycle's not, Napa knows how to get the wrong parts. If he has a Napa crew on the pit road, I'd be worried for him.
Yeah, we know that you have a long-lasting beef with Napa Auto Parts. They seem to let you down on a fairly frequent basis, from what I understand. Is that correct?
It tends to happen a time or two.
Just every once in a while they get you the wrong thing, but you hold a lifetime grudge because that's how it works, right?
That's the way to do it. If you mess up one time, that's it. You're done. I know you're a messer-upper now.
I get it. I do get it.
Oh, watch out, Gopher Cam. That was a scary shot. Our cam about got it there.
It can get sketchy sometimes out there for the Gopher Cams. You see Zach Kreitz out of Denver making his pit stop now. It's going to let the 46 of Jason Gratton inherit the lead. Pittsfield, Illinoisan. Getting a lot of fuel.
Mario helmet.
Yeah, I just saw that. That is a beautiful helmet. Let's see if we can got a shot of that in here. I'm sure there is in this camera pack. Let's see if we can find it.
It does not appear. Nope.
Man, I
Darn.
wish we had a shot of that. I know there's supposed to be some good cameras for the Gen 4. I must not have got them. Blake did not hit me up. Your current top three yet to pit: Jason Gratton, Ryan Lynch, and William Duff to fourth. Cars that have come down, Scott Ricker continuing to lead the way out of that group with Kyle McCoy, in the 7 there right behind him, keeping the race for the lead close. Chris Essery not too far down the road behind the 2 leaders. As you see that lap car getting in the wall there, that's going to be the 46, I believe, losing a lap.
Chris Essery had to make some, evasive actions there, not to get caught up in Mario's wall scrape there.
Yeah, that's Jason Gratton, the current leader, making his way on the pit road. Ryan Lynch still has enough fuel for another lap in that Bell South number 3 machine. That's a beautiful looking car, if I say so, out of Mooresville, North Carolina.
Definitely a throwback, kind of a Carolina. I don't know if Bell South was all over the place, but I know they were big in the Carolinas.
I'm telling you. Blake Hutchinson in the chat saying, I wish there was a cool looking board that showed pit lap info.
You know what?
Do we have something like that? Oh, wait a minute, we do.
Look at that.
Wow. Oh my gosh, what do you see here, Christian?
I see Ryan Lynch, 58 laps out here without pitting. My little spec sheet says my fuel window was 45 laps. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and select that and delete it because it ain't true.
Yeah, we'll have to see when these guys do come down, as it looks like Duff taking over the lead, hitting the wall, giving the lead. Oh
my gosh,
William Duff!
He's gonna get turned!
Hold on to it, William. He does. Oh my gosh. We almost had chaos between these guys staying out. Wow, what a moment. That got sketchy.
Right? That call dropped from Bell South right there.
I'm telling you, Ryan Lynch, I just had a scary moment there. He's got to come down pit road to change his shorts after that one.
Oh, he is coming into pit road. He says that's enough. He said he wants he wants all 4 tires, throw him a water bottle, and a pair of tidy whities because they are brown.
Yeah, yes, definitely is. It looks to be 60 laps coming out of the fuel tank for these 2 guys. Scott Rickard going to take back over the de facto race lead in the 05. Kyle McCoy still hot on his tail in that 7 car. The gap back to Essery looking a little bit larger here. He must have had some trouble in the 91 because he's almost 4 seconds back now.
Yeah, we're 61 laps in. We haven't even heard of a caution yet. This race could be a runaway. As we've cycled through the pits with second place battling Rickard right there, but then S3 being 4 seconds back, Chad White being over 5 seconds back. This might be a breakaway battle.
That is certainly a possibility, but these lap cars are making it interesting. Oh my gosh.
Scott Rickard and Cal McCoy have a big lead, but they sure can't let their guard down. Oh my.
There are some weapons out there at Darlington Motor Speedway. It's not an easy track, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you got it and sometimes you don't. Some of these guys that are getting lapped here are absolutely terrifying to race around, it seems like.
All these drivers here, you got to rip the wall to be fast, rip the wall. They do know you don't actually rip the wall down, right?
I don't know if they do. It seems to be what they're trying to do, as we see Bryce Barfield here in the 7th spot. Got a little battle 7th, 8th, and 9th there between the 37, the 9, and the 28. The 9 looking to make the pass now down the backstretch. Is he going to throw a slider? He does. Slide job from the 9. Oh, man, what a pass from Zach Kreitz. He's not playing around. I believe he won the last time Stars and Stripes came here to Darlington, the next gen car. Is that correct, Christian?
I believe so. Yep, he did. He sure did. Next gen race winner.
Whoa, look
April.
out! The 10 car!
Oh my God.
Mark Schrader caught it
Fired to
live.
the wall. He is not okay.
That Nesquik car is toast. Pour you a tall glass and go sit in the medical center for the 10 car. That thing is, I'm going to steal Blake's line for the first time tonight and say that that car is junk.
It's that pink 08 car. Trying to work his way around the leaders, or let the leaders work their way around him. Getting loose, almost tripping over it right there. We stay greens.
I don't know how to explain it, man. We haven't had a caution all night. 66 straight laps of green flag action. Oh
my gosh.
And I keep wanting to do the thing, the TV thing. I want to take a break, save my voice. And every time I think about it, something happens.
We ain't got time for a break here as Kyle McCoy on the inside of Scott Rickard down the front stretch, side by side for your race lead. 67 laps into the Southern 200. Scott Rickard gives it to him, says, you know what? Go on. I'll pass you back in another about 20 laps.
Yeah, we watched that pass from the HMS TV blimp cam. Christian, try to control your emotions the best you can, but it's one of the best views in the business. We'll see if Scott Rickard can pay the 7 back here on the long run.
You know, I'm going to hold it together. Swallow my pride here. I will say, you know, all these lap cars that were coming up in front of Scott Rickard, it was like he was pressing X for intimidate, because any lap car that came up in front of him, he didn't touch them, but they sure got loose and almost ran around. Oh, look at these camera shots.
Yeah, I'm telling you, whoever put this camera pack together definitely deserves a raise. Looking at the YouTube chat, we got Blake Hutchinson in there, the first ever HMS TV super chat, giving himself 99 cents. This is amazing.
Look at that go.
Thank you, Blake, for donating to yourself. This is amazing.
That was your first ever super chat. I'll probably never do that again, folks.
Never. What a lead for the 7 of McCoy and the 05 of record. They've walked away from third place. Chad White, almost 7.5 seconds. If we don't get a yellow, we know who this race is going to come down between. It's going to be McCoy or Rickard for sure, unless they junk each other.
The McCoy and Rickard Darlington show here tonight. The 7, the 05. As the 7 is playing Houdini acts, will he come back?
Now
Scott
you see
Rickard
me,
can't
now you
see
don't.
our race leader. He is out. He hasn't came back yet. I'm watching the chat logs. He hasn't disconnected yet. This could be major turning of events. Ladies and gentlemen, you watched him live just disappear. Poofed away. Oh,
Four-time Darlington winner going to be robbed by his internet? Did that just happen?
I think it did. He hasn't dropped out of the session just yet. I'm keeping an eye on the chat logs. But he sure hasn't came back.
Yeah, he seems to be gone. This is incredible.
Oh, no. That's what you get for having Bell South internet, you know?
I'm telling you, you can't have it. R.I.P. to Kyle McCoy's chances here tonight. I think it's been too long for him to pop back into where he was.
You know, it surely would be a jump scare for Scott Rickard if he did at this point. But Chad White, 7 seconds back. So Scott Rickard, you know, all he's got to do is stay clean and green.
Yeah, it's turning into a bit of a Sunday drive for the 05 now that Kyle McCoy, with the internet issues and the disconnect, blowing an engine, if you will, as we're just about on the halfway point here, if my math is correct. Rickard, a big old lead. He's just basically got to cruise from here on out and hope that there's no yellows, and he's got his second victory of this young season.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can officially report that Callie McCoy connection dropped due to upload packet loss. He is back into the session now, but he's already gonna be, looks like he's already scored 4 laps down. He is out of contention for tonight. Unfortunate turn of events here.
That is just unfortunate for the 7 of McCoy, but we'll go ahead and run through your top 10 real quick just to keep everybody in the loop right there. The 05 Scott Ricker continuing to lead. Chad White in the 36, kind of in no man's land, as well as the 5 of Trey Jackson. Got a little bit of a battle here between Kyle Bowling and Chris Essery. Bowling there on the bottom, Essery on the top. Not sure who's going to have that spot. And you got Kreitz for 6th right behind him there. This is the best battle on the track at the moment. We'll see if anything comes of it. Whoa, look out.
The 9 gets into the back of the 44. Kyle Bowling, everybody saves it, but we almost had some drama there.
Man, that was exciting. Got a request in the chat. Blake Hutchinson saying, can we see that 63 car? I heard that guy is a wheelman. Absolutely. Aaron Poplin there out of Charlotte. Couldn't tell you where he's actually scored because my stuff's jumping around. Planning on fixing it under caution. We haven't had one of those yet, of course.
He is
Clean and green
19th,
tonight.
1 lap down.
19th, 1 lap down. You heard it here first. Aaron Poplin, one of the goats in that Amtrak car. He's got the 37 of Barfield right behind him, about to go a lap down to the 8th place car here. Got the 54 car,
41
Andrew
into the
Hess
wall.
entering pit lane. He's a couple laps down to that wreck earlier. So the 41 car?
Yep, he gets it straight. He's fine. He about got ran over while he was in the wall, but we're all good.
Yeah, he's able to keep it straight. I think it's because he's running a Moza R5 with 2 butt kickers on a 2-monitor setup. If he wasn't, he might have lost that car, but with that setup, he was able to keep it clean and green.
Definitely, he definitely didn't feel good getting in a wall with that setup.
Yeah, those butt kickers, man, they'll kick your butt, I'm telling you.
Jesse, remember the jokes we talked about?
I'm sorry, man. That one just landed in my lap. That's all I can say.
I'm gonna kick your butt.
No, don't do
See
that.
what I did there?
I get it. Butt kicker. Hilarious. 79 laps in.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I think it is. Scott Rickard leading the way. Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. Scott Rickard holding down that number 1 spot. Chad White 2nd. Trey Jackson 3rd place. 80 laps to go. Don't go anywhere. All it takes is 1 yellow to change this entire race. Thank you for tuning in to Hutchins Motorsports TV. We'll be back shortly.
welcome back to tonight Southern 200 here in the Stars and Stripes Racing League. This is the Scott Rickard Show. He is out 6-second leads on Chad White, with Trey Jackson following him. You know, our only battle really are between Bowling and Nelson right now. They're the only ones close enough to be fighting each other.
Yeah, decent little battle between these two here for 4th place. That Pepsi car making me think of Jeff Gordon back in the day. Numbers a little off, about by 20. But good-looking car nonetheless. And like you said, Zachary Nelson there in 5th. Putting up a strong fight, trying to take that spot from the 44. We'll have to be able to keep an eye and see if he can take that spot from the Malcolm Nebraskan. Right on board with the 07. See what it's like trying to chase down that 44 car here. Looks like the 07 might just be trying to bide his time, not worrying about passing the 44 just yet. I heard him lift there mid-corner. Scott Rickard taking off. Lead starting to go down a little bit, but not by much. Chad White still holding down the second. We got a car in the wall hard in front of Chad White there. Of course, we're going to stay clean and green. That was the 5-hour energy machine of Larry Griffin the third, scraping the door off of that thing out of the exit of turn 2.
Able to keep it rolling. Want to take a moment right now. Blake mentioned it in the chat. Do we do any special events? I want you to go down to the description right now, ladies and gentlemen. Join the Discord that is down there. That's where you're going to find all of our events and what's on the plans. There is one in the announcements there. Just check it out. We're going to be doing some figure 8 racing here soon.
There's one thing about figure 8s I know, and that's going to be a lot of wrecked race cars, but the thing is, if you want to come out, damage will be turned off, so it's just going to be who can survive the longest, get to the finish first. $5 to enter, $50 to win, and $10 to whoever can rack up the most incident points in that race. It's going to be a good time. Join that Discord. Come on out. Trey Jackson now on the bumper, Chad White. We might have a little bit of a battle for second. That nationwide number 5 car out of Mayo, Florida, gonna look to get by the 36. He's been a bit faster than Chad, been able to reel him in slowly.
That's gonna make it easy. Chad getting to the wall there.
Yeah, whoa, he's getting loose too out of turn 2. A lot of people doing that. It's gonna get exciting here between the 36 and the 5, I think, as these laps are ticking down.
Yep. It's turning out to be. Yeah, he's gonna just grind the wall down the front stretch. You earn your stripes on the front stretch. That's a new one, but hey, however you gotta earn them, get them on there. Trey Jackson takes over the 2nd place position.
Yeah, you and me do enough racing to know that wall can be a daggone sticky trap. And that's what happened to Chad White. He got that right front wheel up there against the wall, and it just took all his speed. And the 5 of Jackson able to make the pass look easy. He made it look like the 36 was sitting still.
Yeah, look at that car though. Beautiful car. We put the stickers on it. He can't seem to. Hopefully he can hold the podium, but he can't seem to find victory lane.
We do have a bit of an update on the 7 of Kyle McCoy. Haven't talked about him since we went back from break. He's back out on the track after his issues. Unfortunately, he is at least 6 laps down now in that 7 car, so he's got a tough road ahead of him. My scoring says 5 laps, so he might have got a lap back, but not going to win this race tonight.
While we were on the break, he did pass our race leader. Do regain one of those laps, but we got a long way to go. He won't be back anywhere near the lead lap before the end of this one, as we only have 51 laps to go.
Yeah, if I had to try to find who is leading the battle for last, it's getting a little difficult because we've got pit cycles starting. Brian Samara in the 53 car, he just came down pit road out of Kannapolis, North Carolina. Your 3x 5150 Cup Series points runner-up. This is his rookie season here in the Stars and Stripes series. He's had some interesting races so far this year. And that 53 Puma machine as he's getting passed by the 07 here into turn 3 and 4.
You know, on the at least the ones that are left turning, I'm interested to see him in the IndyCar. He showed potential towards the end of the race at Michigan, but he got took out on a later wreck, so that was unfortunate. But you know, he's good as long as the track turns left. But if it turns right, I've heard him complain about it a time or two.
Yeah, I can imagine. Not a big road course guy as the 53 of Samara's. You see now the 28 of Whitaker coming down pit road, and we're definitely here in the final pit cycle of the race. We saw guys make it 60 laps earlier on their fuel as we pull up the immaculate pit strategy board once again. Rickard and Jackson both ran 50 laps their first stint. They've been 49 laps in this second one. Will we see them come down here in the next couple laps to try to split this thing into perfect thirds?
Blake Hutchinson in the chat is starting to learn why they call Scott Rickard the GOAT. And right now, he is the GOAT of Darlington.
Yeah, I mean, this is a historic start to a season for a driver in pretty much any league, in my opinion, to win the season opener at Daytona, finish second in a different car in the Indy car, finishing second, and then go into a third different car here in the Gen 4 Cup car. And I mean, he had the 7 of McCoy was giving him a run for this money. I mean, Kyle McCoy's the Darlington GOAT, that's for sure. He was giving Rickard a run for his money, but with his unfortunate issues, it's the Scott Rickard show now. The only way he's getting beat now is if there's a caution, and even then, I think it's if he beats himself. If they re-rack this thing, I think Rickard probably better on speed than anyone left out there as he's coming down pit lane now.
Let's keep an eye on our race leader as he comes through with the Hutchinson Motorsports TV cameras on him. Look at that pass by the Tire Pros Chevy. He's been good at managing those tires. Of course, Tire Pros hooked them up with the best in the business. Look at this shot. What a beautiful camera angle. There's our RoboCam on pit wall.
As he's pulling into his box, I just want to point out, at least according to my scoring, Ryan Lynch just now took the race lead over from Scott Rickard. Everybody else was so far behind that it took just now for somebody to take the lead over from that 05. Ryan Lynch, we saw him run long earlier and lead a couple laps earlier. He's back in the lead again, but he's going to bring it down this time in that 3 car.
William Duff to 4th. You know, last week, Jesse, if you remember in that Indy car, he wrecked so hard that William Duff II said, "Owie."
Yeah, I mean, that hit was so hard it completely skipped William Duff III and went right to the second in his grave. But he's leading this thing right now on the pit strategy. Hasn't come down pit road yet. Looking like a 2003 Matt Kenseth there in that Ford Taurus. A beautiful paint scheme there for the 17. He's pulling it down pit road now. Gonna give the race lead back to the 05 of Rickard already.
Man, this is just the Scott Rickard show this season. It don't matter what car, it don't matter what track. I will say, he's always so humble when you talk to him. You know, he never, gets cocky. He always very thankful. You know, he had a move at Daytona he definitely was not proud of. You know, he owned a mistake, and, even though he won the race, he didn't really celebrate because he was upset. Very humble man is Scott Rickard.
Let's go ahead while we've got about 42 laps left in this thing. Let's touch on a few drivers we haven't really talked a whole lot about tonight. First one that I see here, the 89 of James Waldo. Kind of had a quiet race so far. The only time we've talked about him is the grid, and we're 105 laps in. That 89 car, according to my scoring, sitting in the 13th spot right now. Pretty solid race for the 89. Nothing too excited out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Who do you have your eye on, Christian, out here in the field?
You know, Chad White just hanging on to the 3rd position right now. Doing a good job, you know, hopefully holding on to the podium. I mean, he's got a couple seconds back to the next car, so be nice to see him take a podium home here in Darlington.
Yeah, this is Chad's 2nd season here in the Stars and Stripes series, I believe. It's either his 2nd or his 3rd. I'm not 100% positive on that. I know he had some struggles last season, but he had some good finishes in there as well. This very well could be one of his best finishes in the Stars and Stripes series if he can hold on to this 3rd place spot.
Definitely so. I'm showing only 14 cars on the lead lap. We are kind of mid pit cycle, but I think that's about where it's supposed to be. I think the pit cycle is mainly over now.
And folks,
Ryan
I do
Lynch,
want to cut to something real quick. Happened about a minute ago. Let's see. I have a report of Larry Griffin III having a crash. Let's see if we can see what happened to the 77. Might have just been going into pits, but that car looks pretty messed up. Let's rewind it and see if we can see anything.
He's going to miss pit road.
Still green flag racing here. We're rewinding, seeing if we can see what happens to the 77. Oh, did he junk it here off of turn 2? Oh, man.
Yep.
Ooh.
Wow.
Hard hit for the 77.
You said it earlier. I'm going to say it this time. Ladies and gentlemen, that car is junk.
Well, you know, Blake's not here to say it, so we got to say it as much as we can. Chad White in the 36. Is he taking over the 2nd spot? He has. He's past Trey Jackson now in that 5 car.
He is on a mission to go really only to 2nd. There's no catching Scott Rickard at this point if we stay green with 38 laps to go.
Yeah, 110 laps previous when everybody graded up for this race and went green. Their mission was to go here to victory lane at Darlington. There's only one man that has a serious chance of that tonight, in my opinion. That's going to be this man right here in the 05, Scott Rickard. 9 seconds now, almost ahead of Chad White.
Blake Hutchison in the chat says, do I think, he's talking to me, he says, Christian, do you think Larry Griffin II would be better at Darlington? You know, possibly.
It's hard to tell with the family lineage, you know?
Oh, I'm hearing somebody complain about there's no caution on the track. 08, the pink car, Alex Buffoli involved in, looks like some heavy damage. Let's see if we can get a replay of that going.
As we take a look here at the 08, gets clipped,
46.
It looked like, by the 46 and hard into the inside wall. Wow,
Oh,
how
the
is that
racing
not
surface.
a caution?
Oh my. You know, I'm going to check live if auto cautions are even on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how it couldn't be. That's a hard hit for the 08 pulling into his box. Gonna have to get that thing fixed back up. That should definitely have been a yellow in my opinion, but what do I know?
Checking. Full course cautions are on. So, iRacing just said, you know what, Buffoli? Forget about it. You're done. You're done.
These guys are getting so far separated, it's hard keeping track of all of them on the screen. Zach Kreitz here holding down the 5th spot right now. Pretty quiet race for Kreitz. Talked about him earlier as the previous Darlington winner when they last came here last season in the next gen cars. Looking like he's got pretty good form in the Gen 4, but not quite race winning speed for the 9, I don't think. Your biggest mover so far tonight, still the 35 car, Bryce Barfield, 5150 Cup Series champion in 24. He's up to the 7th spot. Qualified, I'm not sure, doing quick math here. I think he qualified about 22nd, and he is up to 7th now.
Definitely putting on a show. Alex Buffoli, Blake, he says he's straight off the boat from Italy. I forgot about that fact. But I have to report to you, Blake, he was mad about the caution not coming out, and he spoke English, probably for the first time here tonight at Darlington. He yelled in the radio in English.
Well, my opinion on that, you hang out with guys long enough, and you pick up on certain phrases. I'm sure if you don't know a language, you'll still pick up on certain phrases that get said a lot, and I'm sure complaining about there being cautions or not being cautions is a frequent event on the radio.
Jesse, I think you got it confused. This is iRacing, okay, son? No one complains in iRacing, ever.
Well, that's interesting. All I know is people always complain about iRacing. Maybe you just get better lobbies than me, but it feels like people are always mad about something. "27 laps getting ready to be left here in the the Southern 200. I was going to call it the Scott Rickard 200, but it's the Southern 200. I don't know why I almost made that mistake, but Chad White holding down the 2nd spot over Trey Jackson in the number 5 car. Kyle Bowling, quiet race for the 44 Pepsi machine, holding down the 4th spot. Whole lot of 4s there. And Zach Kreitz once again in the 5th spot, holding down the top 5. Getting in the wall, getting a little slideways.
He's holding down top 5 and also holding up the wall. Just giving it a little brush, make sure it's straight.
Yeah, I don't know if he was holding it up or trying to knock it down, but unsuccessful with either of them. We go through the rest of your top 10. Bryson Barfield in the 6th spot there. No pressure from the 07 of Zachary Nelson, although the 07 isn't too far behind that 35 car. Josh Whitaker trying to make the pass for 7th here. He's going to look to the inside of the 07 and get it done. It's going to put Josh Whitaker into 7th, Nelson into 8th. Brian Samara up 14 spots now. He is in the 9th spot tonight, looking for a top 10 here. And holding down 10th, the man that was battling for the lead early on in this race out of Bakersfield, California, Chris Essery. Man who certainly had a quiet night tonight. The 24 Hooters machine you see here, Brian Lynch, we haven't talked about him much at all. He's the final car on the lead lap, I believe, right now. Or he could be a lap down. I'm not 100% positive about Lynch. Looks like he is a lap down. Right behind his brother Ryan at the moment, both 1 lap down. Scott Rickard continuing to lead the way. Lead up to about 11 seconds now. I love seeing Blake in the chat here asking us questions to try to get us to do things. But you know what? We'll be nice and we'll do it. He's asking if there's a stream schedule. There actually is. This isn't the only race that's going to happen. We've got a race tomorrow night and Thursday night. Tomorrow night we're going to have the ARCA cars. Tag on, I can't even see that screen. It's so tiny. Where are the ARCA cars going to be? Oh, it's all falling apart. Dover Motor Speedway. And then Thursday night, we're going to have the same car you're watching here, Gen 4 cars, at a road course. Sonoma Raceway? That's going to be interesting.
Sonoma Raceway. The Vineyard of Sonoma. I love it. It's such a beautiful track in the, springtime. Not really when we go racing there, but that's beside the point. Really fun track to race on. We're going to see how these Gen 4 cars handle there.
I almost wish that iRacing could get a scan of Sonoma in the spring when it's nice and green. That would actually be that would actually be really cool to have a green Sonoma in iRacing. I don't think anyone would ever race the one that looks like a desert. I mean, you watch Sonoma NASCAR, you race Sonoma on iRacing, it looks like you're in the middle of the desert somewhere, and that's basically because you are almost, but it has a time of the year where it really does look beautiful.
Definitely does. Zach Kreitz checking the wall one more time, making sure it's straight here at the, the Scott Ricker 200. Dang on it, Jesse, you got me saying it.
I mean, they might as well rename it after what we've seen tonight. Absolute domination. I'm not sure how many laps he's led now, but he's trying to break a record. That's what I can tell you as we watch the 9 of Zach Kreitz from the beautiful, absolutely beautiful Hutchinson Motorsports TV blimp cam, the #1 blimp in the business. Almost paid off. The 33% interest rate is absolutely killer, but I believe Blake said we're about 27 payments away now out of 180, so we're getting there.
Just,
It's okay, Christian. You got to wipe those tears off, though, because you got to get this drone piloted and catch up to the 9 car. Tell me when you're there.
Okay. I'm there. I'm here.
Man, look at this. Christian flying this drone. Watch the fence, Christian. Be careful.
I got this under control. Okay? Just let me cook.
Let you cook. You about at the cookout sign. Oh, my God. Careful.
Another sign was out. Oh, we about lost that one.
Yeah, just bring that thing back in, Christian. We got it. We can't have you damaging that thing. We're trying to pay the blimp off.
Hey, Blake broke one last week. He crashed it into the IndyCar, remember?
I mean, it's his money. He's not here. We can't be breaking his stuff while he's not here.
Speaking of breaking stuff, Chad White trying to break his right fender.
Yeah, he really was. He caught that wall pretty good. Beautiful logo on the front of that thing. Hutchinson Motorsports TV on all 4 corners of that 36 car.
He hit it like he was trying to scrape it out the right rear.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. You better leave that logo on there. He's also got the Camel Cigarettes logo on there.
William Duff in 10th place. If we can get him on. He is the one he's in 10th place, the last car on the lead lap right now. William Duff the 4th. Making William Duff the 5th proud. He's watching his dad out there race.
All the future generations of the Duffs are going to be proud of William Duff the 4th. I'm going to start calling him the Duff Man.
The Duff Man. Okay, that's a new one, Jesse. You've heard it here first, folks. So, the Duff Man racing here at the Scott Ricker 200.
I could just be the deliriousness of watching 132 laps green, but I'm pretty sure that's something from The Simpsons. I could be absolutely wrong, but that 17 car, that Matt Kenseth scheme, looking beautiful as you look at it from the Gopher cam here.
Look at it, Joe Bias. Oh, man. Talk about wasted money.
Oh,
these cameras
geez.
have had to be replaced 4 times.
Yeah, I don't know what technology we use, but holy moly.
Look at this one. Oh, man, that was Brian Samara, William Duff. It's just beautiful.
We look at the 36 car, Chad White. Let's go ahead and try to bring up the Hutchins Motorsports TV battle box. It does not get shown all that often. Just kidding, it's not going to work. Never mind, that was all a joke.
This is serious, Jesse. This is the Scott Ricker 200, okay? There is an intense battle for the lead, and you're playing around.
I don't know what to tell you, Christian. I'm telling it to show on the screen, and it's not showing, so I'm doing something wrong, surely.
Blake, tell me in the chat, do you think that was user error? Because I sure do.
Oh, we can see it here. We got the lap time screen up on the board. Chad White gaining a little bit, but Rickard still being just a little bit faster. We creep towards the end of this race, 12 laps left. We'll hop on board with the 05 of Scott Rickard for a little bit. Nothing for the 05 to worry about. He's just hoping somebody doesn't junk it in front of him at this point. That's the only thing that's going to stop the 05 from winning this race, notching his second one of the season.
On board, Scott Rickard, the focus in that steering wheel, holding off, you know, this close battle. Chad White, you know, is so close behind him, he might be catching him here in the next lap or two.
You know, if Chad can only run a second a lap faster than Rickard, he might have a shot at this thing.
But that ain't happening.
Surely it could, though. I mean, Scott Rickard might have to run half throttle to make it happen. But I think, you know, there's always a chance. So you're telling me there's a chance, you know?
I'm not saying there's a chance. Scott Rickard's the GOAT. He knows what he's doing out there. And obviously, you know, the button don't work to throw the caution, so.
You're going to say it's signed, sealed, and delivered. It's Scott Rickard's race to win. Nothing's going to happen with 10 laps to go.
That's exactly right. Put a stamp on it. I am a notary, so yeah, it's not going to happen.
All right, we'll see if Christian's commentator curse comes back to bite that one with 10 laps to go. No changes as of recent in your top 5. Still Rickard, White, Jackson, Bowling, and Kreitz. Bryce Barfield gonna probably finish this race as your biggest mover, up 16 spots from where he qualified. Although William Duff also up 16 spots here in the 8th place position. I think, would you give Bryce Barfield the tiebreaker, being that he's up higher in the standings, in your opinion?
Probably so.
Yeah, I think you got to, right? You would have to pick him, as you see the 7 car of McCoy right there behind Barfield. McCoy had a real shot at winning this race. If you missed it, he unfortunately had some issues where he ended up disconnected from the session.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. But Scott Rickard about to lap Brian Samara in from the 9th position. So he has lapped everyone up to 9th if he makes this pass on Brian. Excuse me, when he makes this pass.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if there is an if at this point. It's probably a win. Because Scott Rickard, that thing is hooked up. And for Brian Samara, probably not at this point. But while you're watching, we've still got 22 people tuned in to this domination with 7 laps to go. If you're still here and you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell your friends about us. We're trying to reach the big 1,000. We just hit 500 subscribers the other day. We're going to have some sort of giveaway for those 500 subscribers. So if you haven't yet, make sure you join the Discord. Link is in the description. And to be entered in that giveaway, I'm sure it's going to be required to get into the Discord, so go ahead and do it now before the announcement of that giveaway happens. It's going to be something related to iRacing, so if you're expecting like a Louis Vuitton gift card or something, this is not the giveaway for you.
Get in the Discord like Jesse was saying. But let's take a look at the chat. You know, like Hutchinson show in the chat. But I do see Mighty Donut. There is a Mighty Donut in the chat, Jesse.
I see him there, Mr. Cody Moore, good friend. Glad to see him. As we see these wall cameras one more time with 5 laps to go.
Oh my gosh! Cal McCoy ran over Zach Kreitz. We got to get a replay on that one real quick before it gets too late.
Oh, look at the front end of the 9.
Yes, we got to see that over. He just ran him over.
Let's take a look.
Oh, as he gets in front of a race leader. Look at that. Oh my, that was almost bad.
Sorry here, trying to find the incident with Kreitz. He's already damaged at this point. Let's rewind it. We're still green here, trying to look at it quick. Not going to be able to see it. It looks like... Oh, yeah, you can see
there
it there. The 7 of McCoy trying to gain them laps back. Just smokes the 9 of Kreitz. Oh, just catches his bumper just a little bit. Let's go back live, though, as this race is getting ready to be over soon.
Kreitz don't want to pit. He zigged when he should have zagged. Got zagged himself. Scott Rickard show here. 3 to go here at the Scott Rickard 200.
It's the Southern 200, Christian.
It's the Scott Rickard 200.
Okay, the name change is going to stick. I believe Chad White looking like he's going to hold down the second spot. We might have a battle here for third, though, with 3 to go. Kyle Bowling is caught up to the 5 of Trey Jackson.
Let's see if we can hold him off there. I mean, gonna be interesting battle here. Jackson Bowling into 44. Trey Jackson's trying to make his natives of Mayo, Florida happy.
Yeah, absolutely. The huge city of Mayo, Florida is all tuned in here to HMS TV, watching Trey Jackson trying to hold off the 44 with 2 laps to go. We'll see if he's able to do it or not.
Bowling says he's a mustard fan, though. He don't care about Mayo.
That's a good one, Christian, as the white flag is out. Scott Rickard going into turns 1 and 2. Once he gets through this, he's only going to have 3 and 4. No yellow is going to happen here, so this thing's pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered, as we said earlier.
An intense battle for first down the backstretch for the final time. Scott Rickard defending the position from the bottom side to the top, trying to hold off that car behind him. Ladies and gentlemen, your race leader here at the Scott Rickard 200 is Scott Rickard.
Gets it done here at Darlington. Chad White just now coming out of turn 4, crossing the stripe. He's going to take on that second spot. Trey Jackson holds on to 3rd. Kyle Bowling 4th. And Bryce Barfield way back here. Exit of turn 4. Now he's going to get your final spot in the top 5. 24 seconds back from Scott Rickard in the 0-5. Coming around here to celebrate his win tonight. What a dominant performance for Rickard after the unfortunate connection error of Kyle McCoy.
Connection error, English errors from both of us tonight. That's okay. You get what you get, ladies and gentlemen, and you don't give a fit.
We watched the 05 burn it down here. Let's see if we can get a hold. Go ahead and start scouring the Discord, Christian, to see who can pull in for
I got one right
interviews.
here.
Go for it.
P3 tonight. Finishing P3, Trey Jackson, Christian, and Jesse up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
You know, good run tonight. A race that never saw yellow. Strategy played out. Found yourself in P3. How do you feel?
Oh, that was a pretty good run for me. Man, I'm sweating. It was that's pretty. That car is a handful, man. Especially when you get on old tires. So, but it was fun. I was just trying to hold Kyle Bowling off there at the end. He run me down from pretty good ways back. I was just trying to hold on to the podium.
I understand that. Did a good job at it too. You know, you were 2 seconds back, it looks like, from Chad White and 11 seconds back from the leader. Is there anything you think you could have done different to keep that gap?
No, I was giving it all I had. My tires were shot at the end, so I had a handful. I was just trying to keep from wrecking it.
I understand that. Jesse, you got anything for Trey Jackson here?
Yeah, I just wanted to know your opinion. Obviously, Scott Rickard winning by almost a 10-second margin, but Kyle McCoy was giving him a run for his money before he disconnected. Who would you have picked between those two if McCoy was able to stay connected?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. They're both my teammates, so and they're definitely the 2 best in this league. So, it's a coin toss.
You're both your teammates, so is this a podium sweep for your team here?
Well, Chad White's not, but
oh, sorry. Sorry.
Me, Rickard, Bowling, and McCoy are.
Yeah, it was a brain fart for me. I apologize for that, but incredible 3rd place finish for you tonight. Who do you got to shout out tonight?
Oh, I just appreciate Nate and Brian and Derek for putting on the league, and everybody for all the guys for showing up. We've having a lot of people showing up this year, so it's pretty fun. So just appreciate those guys for continuing to put on this league each year.
Awesome, good stuff.
And thank y'all guys for covering.
All right, well, that was your 3rd place finisher there. Trey Jackson, the number 5 car. Who else do we have out there, Christian?
We have our 2nd place finisher. He's down in the waiting room. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Apologize. I was actually talking there. I had some mic technical difficulties, but we are back at it again. Chad White, this is Kristen and Jesse. I know my names in the booth. You got a copy.
Chad, you there?
Chad,
Hello.
you got a copy.
I'm here.
Hey,
Oh my
welcome
What's
to
up?
the booth. Congratulations
Been a while
on
since I've been
the
up
P2
here.
tonight.
I know, it's
Absolutely.
been a while since I've been up here. I think it's been like 2 years.
Whoa.
Well, you made it here tonight at Darlington, the Scott Rickard 200. You know, you finished 9.54 seconds officially behind Scott Rickard. Is there anything you think you could have done to narrow that gap down?
Be driving the 05 car because I think it was on. It had a different setup than everybody else. He got out front. He qualified back there with me, and I was like, man, we might come through the field together and actually have a shot at it. It was like, nope, he's just going to drive away, which it was really frustrating because I was running similar lap times as he was. It was just he just had so much of a gap that you couldn't do anything with it.
I understand that. Jesse, you got anything for Chad?
Yeah, I got a couple questions for you. The first one, obviously a second place finish for you tonight. Is this your best finish? I'm sure is this your best finish in Stars and Stripes?
It is. That's my first top 5, actually, believe it or not.
Well, that's a good top 5 is to finish second. And the second question for you, I'm going to ask this, the same thing I asked to Trey Jackson. Of course, the 7 of Kyle McCoy, he's won 4 times here at Darlington in Stars and Stripes in the past. And him and Rickard were battling for the lead, and the 7 disconnects out of the race lead, ends up several laps down. Who would you think would come home with the win between those two if that would not have happened?
Probably Rickard, just from watching him come through the field the way he did. I think he would have most likely been able to hold him off because I don't know how he was able to do it, but just the way he was able to navigate traffic, because that was my biggest problem is Trey would get close to me because I would have trouble getting through lap traffic because they would ride on your quarter panel. Like they wouldn't let anybody go or anything. It was kind of ridiculous, but hey, that's racing.
All right, well, that's all I got
Absolutely.
for you. Christian, you got anything else?
Just congratulations on your first podium finish here in Stars and Stripes. Good job, Chad. We're going to send you back down.
You got any
I-
shout-outs
yeah.
you want to make before you go?
Oh,
Of course, Hutchinson Motorsports TV. I've got them plastered all over the car, and they don't give me a cent. The best streaming service in the world.
Thank you.
You
for
heard
that.
it.
I don't know how. It's about time that I actually finished one of these races with that on my hood. So
Do you think Blake was your
Glad
bad
to
luck?
see it.
maybe he was. Maybe you guys should just like take over the broadcasting and let Blake just have his name on everything.
There you go. That might be your ticket. I mean, your first top 5 of the week he's gone. I don't think it's a coincidence.
Well, see, it's like he talks a lot of trash up there, and it gets in your head a little bit. So
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Congratulations again on finishing second here tonight at the Southern 200.
thank you, Jesse.
Alrighty, that was Chad White, ladies and gentlemen, and now it is time. Are y'all ready? Are the fans at home ready?
Drum roll, please.
We started tonight watching the Southern 200. We finished tonight watching the Scott Rickard 200. Scott, this is Jesse and Christian up at the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Welcome back to this is starting to be a weekly occurrence of here you on the podium. You know, won it at Darlington, second place at Michigan, won it here. What's Daytona? Excuse me, first one. Won it here at Darlington. How you feel?
I love this track. Usually I don't win because I usually get like second or third. So it's nice to finally get the win, but not finish racing McCoy the second half of that race because he had an issue.
Yeah, the incident aside, unfortunate, you definitely put on a clinic here tonight, winning officially by 9.54 seconds. You were in your own area code out there.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks where I just, even short run and long run, I just feel really comfortable being near a wall, especially in 1 and 2, to make speed. So it's one of those that's always been good for me. So I always enjoy racing here.
That's good. Jesse, you got anything for our race winner tonight?
Yeah, I just want to say this is one of the strongest starts to a season I've ever seen in a league. You finished first, second, and first. Was there any way you saw this coming, or has this kind of caught you by surprise? This run you're having to start season 11 here.
Finishing second IndyCar definitely was not my big. I figured I'd get wrecked in an IndyCar race, so usually stock cars and most trucks, I feel he's comfortable enough to run good. But Indy cars, it's one of those where it's like I don't race. I race it once a year usually at the Indy 500. So anywhere outside that, it's like I gotta figure out when we get there to figure out what we're gonna do.
And between you and McCoy, of course, according to our statistics that we pulled before this thing, I went through and I did, and by I mean AI did a lot of research into the Stars and Stripes League, and Kyle McCoy, 4-time winner here at Darlington, and was looking strong. Do you think it would have came down to the last lap between you two had he not disconnected?
It definitely would have been close because we always are pretty even at this track, and it's usually just a matter of like pit cycles where whoever gets it usually with us. So most of the time he just gets in front of me in the pit cycle, or I just gotta. Even this race, I started qualified bad, so I thought that was probably my chance of winning over with him starting at the front. You never know how this goes usually, though.
Absolutely. That's about all I got for you, Christian. You got anything left for Scott?
No, nothing. Just tell us your shout-outs there, Scott. You got any?
Everybody on my team, Team Watson Racing setups, and everybody puts the league on.
Alrighty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was your, I'll say the proper name, I guess, Southern 200. You know, it really was the Scott Rickard 200. Once again, congratulations, Scott.
Thank you.
Scott Rickard, ladies and gentlemen, your race leader here tonight. Jesse, this was, you know, an uneventful race. Scott Rickard pulling it off the line. You see it right there on your screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
It definitely had its entertaining moments, but it kind of reminded you of the 2003 races.
Yeah, that's for sure. It was going to be a heck of a finish between the 7 and the 05, in my personal opinion, had that issue with the connection not happening. Scott seemed to agree for sure. It kind of ended up being a slow end to this race. But honestly, other than that, Christian, you got any final thoughts tonight of the Southern 200 before we call it a night?
Not so much as a final thought, other than, you know, one last time, I'm going to say, if you haven't liked this video, what are you doing? If you haven't subscribed to Hutchinson TV, you know, don't be junk. Just hit that subscribe button. It takes, I'm gonna give it a test. Ready? 1. Took 1 second. Less than. Do it, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, if it only takes a second, I don't see why anybody wouldn't do it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join the Discord for news, events. I mean, like I said earlier, we've got the Slinger Slaughter coming up here in probably a couple weeks from now, to be honest with you. Figure eights at Slinger Motor Speedway or whatever the hell it's called. I'm sure it's a dump in the middle of nowhere, but we're going to bring out some cars and we're going to do some rights and some lefts and junk some stuff. So if you're interested in joining that, $5 entry, $50 to the winner, $10 to whoever can rack up the most incident points, because we want to see absolute destruction out there. Getting ready to sign off from Darlington here tonight. The Southern 200, Scott Rickard taking the win. His second on the season here in Stars and Stripes. Tune in tomorrow night for ARCA cars at Dover International Speedway in the Superstar ARCA West Series. And then Thursday night is going to be the All-American Cup Series Gen 4 cars at Sonoma. Signing out here tonight, Tuesday night, is going to be Christian. For Christian up in the booth, this is Jesse Becker saying y'all have a good night and tune in tomorrow night.
Toward each other, Rickard Johnson! Checkered flag in the air! Scott Rickard wins it!
Oh, and there he goes. Harder to the inside. Whoa, Hibbs is involved. Tyler Whittemore. He's in the middle of the track. Oh, he's going to get sparked again.
He's junk! The French shows him blocking his turn! Rossiter takes the lead, they're all junk in it! The entire field is junk! Oh, and Andy Taker Johnson! Oh, and he gets collected!
Oh, and he goes around 78. Oh, Harden in the pit wall. He's dead. He is dead.
Cleared out of 3 and 4 for the final time. Matthew Wiggins, first race back, missed last week, but here he is, taking